and welcome. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and turn to number 1064 in the teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home. Let us join together in singing number 1064. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can sail. I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the engine wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heaven in a beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great wind surging me on, breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor. It is good to be with you here in person and good to feel the presence of those watching on live stream right now. Welcome to each and all. And thank you for choosing to spend time in community. Sharing worship is one of the few times in our lives that brings together people of all ages across many generations, and we have so much to learn from each other. UUAA has been a space for intergenerational interactions for years and years. And maybe you have been here for years and years and can confirm that. Or maybe this is the first Sunday you opened the YouTube on live stream or walked in these doors. It's a brave thing to do, and we are glad that you have done it. If you are new and online and you're comfortable doing so, please introduce yourself in the chat. We encourage anyone new to fill out a newcomer survey at uuaa.org/newcomer survey so we can connect with you more easily. And if you are here in person and new, after the service is a newcomer welcome in the Jackson Chapel. That's just outside these doors, up a little ways and on the right. Someone will be there to help answer your questions and welcome you. And for anyone who likes to know what's going to happen in the service, I invite you to open the electronic version of today's order of service. It's at uuaa.org/OOS. And especially if you are watching online without hymnals nearby, the order of service has the hymn lyrics so that you can sing along with us. Now, this afternoon, from 1:30 to 3, the Board of Trustees will hold an open listening and question-answer Zoom session to seek congregational feedback on a proposed governing policy. So for more information and to register, please visit uuaa.org/listen session. And remember, this is only on Zoom. Another event I'm happy to announce is that a congregational meeting will be held in 2 weeks. On Sunday, April 30th, also Zoom only. There's no in-person worship that morning. A mini service will begin on Zoom at 10:30, immediately followed by the congregational meeting. To register for that, look for information on our website. Next Sunday, we will celebrate Earth Day, and all are invited to bring some dirt that we will collect in our second annual Dirt Communion ceremony. We'll also create a nature altar from items that you bring, things like pine cones and stones and leaves, things from nature. And don't worry if you forget, we will have some extra things here for you. In addition to this multi-generational worship service next week, there will be a ceremony after each service outside to dedicate a grove of memorial trees. And there will be a climate action gathering table events happening that day. A lot of fun and games for all ages. There'll be maps and guided tours of our beautiful land out back. There'll be information on UUAA's future plans for landscaping, climate action, and solar energy. Everyone is welcome, and we also welcome volunteers. If you would like to help out with this event, you can sign up at uuaa.org/Earth Day. But wait, there's more. If you want to get ready for next Sunday, the Friday Fun Night on April 21st will be Earth Day focused, and it will feature a lot of fun activities and crafts and movies for all ages again, and the details you can find on the website. So there is so much going on to look forward to, but also so much to experience right now in this moment as we gather for worship. I am joined by Dr. Carter Smith, the Acting Director of Music Ministries, Allison Hallers, our pianist in residence, Mike Hallers, our technology consultant, and I am the Reverend Teresa Rolk. Wait, I'm the Minister of Pastoral Care. Hey, wait.
Hello everyone, I'm Odelia Florusbosch and I use they, them pronouns. The service today is being run by YRUU, which is the youth group here at church. Our topic today is intergenerational understanding. We hope you all enjoy the service.
This is the way of peace. Stand tall and hold your ground. Lay all your weapons down. Come ready to learn. This is the way of peace. Stand tall and hold your ground. Lay all your weapons down. Come ready to learn.
Hi, my name is Zack, he, his, and him pronouns. I'll read us today for our child sighting. If you are watching at home, I invite you all to light a chalice or a candle and say with us in the chat where your chalice is lit. Today, we light this chalice with a reading titled, We Are Hope by Hope Johnson. We Are One by Hope Johnson. We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here by not coincidence, but because we chose to journey together. Active and proactive, we care deeply, we live our love as best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one. Now I invite the younger members of this worship service to come forward and read the covenant. Come on, come on. Come on over here, come on. Come on, kids, come on. Come on. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the home of the open mind. This is the home of the flaming chalice. This is the home of the helping hands. This is the home of the loving heart. Together we care for earth and work for peace in our world. Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah.
All right, so during our time for all ages, normally we have a book written by adults for kids. So today we kind of wanted to flip that script, and we have a book written by kids for adults. And we went to the younger classes and got drawings of what kids think adults do all day. So this is What Do Adults Do All Day by UUAA Kids. These are the things we think adults might do when we're away. They sleep and take Zoom meetings. They get secret packages. And they have faculty meetings. Adults like to garden, even in the rain. Adults do taxes. Woo! Some do mystery activities, and maybe somersaults. Or use their phone, watch Bluey with their kids, and fix their computers. Adults drink coffee, they go shopping, and they look at their phone more. They go on dates, and they sleep, eat, work, and sleep. Adults are boring. The end. So these are also drawings about what our authors think about themselves and who they are. So here are some of the things about our authors. This author is 7, loves reading, and has favorite colors of pink, blue, and yellow, and loves their pets, their dog and cat. This author is 16 and likes reading books, music, and doing math. This author is in 3rd grade and likes baseball, fly fishing, football, and playing outside. Adele says, "I believe I am," and drew this picture. Autumn likes bugs. And Ginny O says, "I believe I am eclectic." Thank you to all these wonderful authors in the K1 class, the 2-3 class, the 7th grade class, and YRUU.
This is the end of our time for all ages, which means we get to sing to the youngest among us as they leave this space for their programs. I invite all of our young people to follow their teachers out of the sanctuary as we sing to you with a love.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
I'm Odelia, and I'll be playing Daryl.
I'm Avalon, and I'll be playing Daryl's inner monologue. I say the things Daryl wishes they could say.
I'm Matthew. I will be playing Daryl's parent, Daryl's grandmother, and Daryl's grandmother's friend. You can tell I'm playing the adults because, unlike the Generation Z and millennials, I am not addicted to my phone. Daryl, welcome home. How was school?
I'm so tired. School was horrible.
Fine.
Oh, you sound so enthused. How was your test?
It went all right.
Anything else interesting happen at school today?
Nothing
What was your favorite part?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I guess my favorite part was theater.
I wish I could just tell them about myself. Really, my favorite part was in theater when I talked to my friend and...
Okay, I'm glad theater was fun. Come on, we have to get to Grandma's house.
I do not have energy for this.
Sure. Hi, Grandma.
Daryl! How good to see you. How's school going?
More school talk?
It's going great.
I'm so glad. Any ideas about where you're going to college yet?
I don't know. Why does everyone think I'm supposed to know this already?
I'm still figuring that out.
I guess you still have some time. Enjoy your youth. One day you'll be busy raising little ones of your own.
And why does everyone think I'm gonna have children? I could have a life that's not just raising kids.
I'm not sure if I want to have children.
Oh, you'll change your mind when you're older. Children are a gift. Anyways, how are your grades?
Why does she care?
They're all A's.
That's so exciting. I should get you cake.
And what would she say if I was failing? Why is this a measure of my worth?
Oh, that must be Susan. I forgot to tell you she's coming over. Could you get the door for me?
Of course, Grandma.
Thank you.
Please don't let her talk about school. I can't take it anymore.
Daryl, what a lovely surprise. I haven't seen you in ages.
It's nice to see you too.
How's school going? What grade are you in now?
Why does everyone care so much about school?
School's all right. I'm in 10th grade now.
Oh my, 10th grade already. You've grown up so quickly. I'm sure you're still top of your class. You always were so smart.
I know I'm smart, but it's not because of my academic abilities. What I wish my parent would say is,
Hey, how was your day?
Kind of tiring, but theater went well.
What about theater went well?
finally, a conversation worth having.
I talked to Jenna about feeling excluded in theater, and they listened to me and seemed to understand. And better yet, they're making an effort to hang out with me more.
I'm so glad. I know you're really close outside of theater, and I'm happy they are working to include you in theater.
What I wish my grandma would say.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not the best. I've been having a really hard time since I started trying to accept the things I can't do anymore. I really miss riding my bike and dancing.
I'm so glad I can have these kind of conversations with her.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything I can do to help support you?
Just listening to me talk would mean the world to me.
Of course, Grandma.
What I wish my grandma's friend would say.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi.
Would you be a good person for me to ask about pronouns? I want to learn more.
I would be. What do you want to know?
The end.
Good morning. So as you can see, we have 5 wonderful panelists here from various generations. I'm going to be asking a few questions that will highlight the similarities and differences between the generations, and we'll see what their responses are, maybe learn some new things. So we'll just start. If you could say your name and pronouns, please. Go ahead.
I'm a wonder at technology. My name is Meryl Crockett, and I use the pronouns she, hers.
I'm Tony. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Alita. I use she or they pronouns.
I'm Adele, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Kate, she, her.
And if you could also go through one more time and say either your age and or your generation, whichever you feel comfortable with.
I think on this page, this stage, I am an older generation. And I will be 81 in June.
I'm almost 18, and I am Generation Z.
Hi, I'm Generation Z. I'm 22.
I'm 12.
I'm 39. I'm an old millennial.
All right. What do you do to pass the time?
In the spring, summer, and fall, I like to garden. And in the winter, I like to read and do play on my devices and games and stuff.
I like to read or write or watch horror movies.
I have a lot of I have a lot of cottagecore hobbies, so I like to sew and knit and bake and garden and that kind of thing.
I like to read.
I also like to read, and I also like to watch TV and movies, also horror movies.
What are your thoughts on the Supreme Court?
Oh, I guess I should say something for the online audience.
Yes, please.
I'm troubled by the Supreme Court as it is now and hope for better things in the future.
Yeah, I think some of the people have biases which get in the way, for sure.
I'm definitely not a fan of the Supreme Court, but as an institution, I'm more a fan of participatory democracy, and I feel like the Supreme Court is not a very good example of that.
I feel like we just need to have a lot of representation of different people on the Supreme Court to look at issues in different ways.
I wrote this down. Personally, the Supreme Court feels like an ideological battleground that is so far away and contentious and powerful that I don't really think about it until some proceeding goes on or a ruling comes down that brings joy or anger or heartbreak. As an institution, it should at least evolve, but I don't know enough about the risks and opportunities to feel solid on what should be done.
Thank you. Do you have any living parents?
I do not have any living parents. My parents would be 110 and 113 if they were still alive, which they're not. I do, however, have children who are in their 50s and grandchildren who are almost 16 and 19.
Both my mom and dad.
Both my parents are alive.
Both my parents are also alive.
I still have my dad, and then my mother and father-in-law have been like bonus parents since I was about 18.
What process do you use to communicate with friends to get together?
I wish we were back in the older times, the pre-pandemic times, when you could actually talk to people in real time. But currently, I get together, we call each other on the phone or text or email, and I have several groups of friends for one reason or another, and we get together by Zoom or actually in person for a book club and things like that.
Calling or texting.
Mostly text.
I email with my friends, or we just talk in person, like at school and stuff.
Mostly texting unless it requires more in-depth plans, like a trip or something, and then you gotta use email.
What scares you?
One of the things that scares me is how complicated miscommunication can get if you omit a letter or a tone of voice on a text or something like that, and everything can go sideways, and you don't even know that you've done it. Other things that scare me is the climate crisis, and that we're not doing enough to stop what we could actually stop from happening.
I would say spiders or losing my family.
I'm afraid of a lot of things, definitely the climate crisis. I'm mostly afraid of the way people see each other, polarization, things like not trusting our neighbors and that kind of thing.
I am afraid of climate change and speaking in public.
Yeah, mine is big spiders. All the things that are gonna get worse because of climate change, including big spiders. And also speaking vulnerably about things I'm afraid of without making jokes.
What was one of the favorite gifts that you've gotten?
Before I answer that, I want to go back to what scares me. Being in the garden has taught me how to learn to love spiders. I received two favorite gifts when I got these questions and thought about it. One was from my stepson when he was about 9. He gave me this Christmas present that you opened the box and out popped this little stem with a whole bunch of colored balls that just kind of flew in the air, and it just made me so happy. And then a few Christmases ago, my then 11-year-old grandson gave me a little glass Christmas tree with ornaments. And those are just favorites that I remember because of the love that came from the giver to me.
I would say that when I was 2, I got this little mouse puppet that had a block of cheese, and I still have it, and I love it. And another one is a little compact box the size of my hand that says, "Be who you are, everyone else is taken." And my mom gave it to me, and it means a lot.
I think my favorite gift I ever received was the American Girl doll Addie. I still have her, and she's my favorite.
When I was about 3, my brother gave me a stuffed animal, and I still have it.
Mine was a guitar that I got from my dad.
All right, that was all the questions. This next part that we're going to do is going to involve some audience participation. So if you're willing and able, you're going to answer 2 questions, the last one that all the panelists just did. What scares you, and what was one of the favorite gifts that you've gotten? So in a minute, but not yet, you're going to get up and move around, find somebody preferably that you don't know, someone of a different generation, and you're going to talk about those 2 questions. So again, what scares you, and what is one of the favorite gifts that you've gotten? So we'll take a few moments to do that. Go ahead. Thank you to the panelists as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for returning to your seats. I hope you all had a lovely conversation. I hope everybody met someone new and now has a new friend and maybe learned some new things about the life of a different generation. So, thank you.
I cannot change the world, I can only change myself. When I make change in myself, I create change in the world. I become like a stone, and when I am thrown into a sea of people, those changes in me ripples out through the sea in ever-widening circles. So I create peace, I send you love. I create peace, I send you love. All right, I'm gonna do this call and response so you can all learn it. I cannot change the world. I can only change myself. When I make change in myself, I create change in the world. I become like a stone, and when I am thrown into a sea of people, those changes in me ripples out through the sea in ever-widening circles. So I create peace, I send you love. I create peace, I send you love. All right, all together. I cannot change the world, I can only change myself. When I make change in myself, I make change in the world. I become like a stone, and when I am thrown into a sea of people, those changes in me ripples out through the sea in ever-widening
And now, here's a reflection on youth movements titled, Listen to the Youth. Throughout history, young people have led the way for change. In 1963, teenagers and kids of color marched in Birmingham, Alabama to protest against segregation. Most of them were arrested and jailed. Young people in the 1960s and 1970s on college campuses came together to protest the violence of war, and that over 2 million young men were drafted into the Vietnam War.
In 1941, Popular Science, a magazine, used the word teenager with a hyphen for the first time ever. This set a precedent of describing teens as their own new age group instead of as almost adults. Advertising targeted youth with music records, trendy fashion, and new cars. Holden Caulfield of The Catcher in the Rye was an icon of teenage rebellion after World War II, although the book was controversial because of its profanity and its suggested behavior. Teenagers have often been maligned, creating a turbulent relationship with adults. In the 50s and 60s, rock and roll became popular among many youth because of its rebellious and energetic tone. With the evolution of technology and social media, youth have found new ways to connect with each other and express approval and disapproval for various things.
In 1976, the South African government said that all education would be done in Afrikaans and English. Afrikaans was a language used by the apartheid government. On June 16, 1976, 10 to 200,000 students left the schools and protested. Hundreds of people died, but the protest brought the world's attention to the fact that apartheid needed to be ended.
After a school shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, students staged walkouts in protest. This began March for Our Lives. They also protested in D.C. to tell the government that it's time to change and time to make students feel safe from guns again in school. Anti-gun protests by youth continue around the country, even at Ann Arbor's high schools today.
In August 2018, a 15-year-old girl named Greta Thunberg sat in front of the Swedish parliament every school day for 3 weeks to protest against the lack of action on the climate crisis. This began Fridays for Future and other youth movements for climate action. Will you speak truth to power to defend our Earth?
The School Strike for Climate was a strike against resistant adults, but the Birmingham Children's Crusade in 1963 was a strike in place of adults who would otherwise be risking jobs, family, or be unable to fulfill other responsibilities. Hundreds of black children skipped out on school day after day, marching for racial equality. They held up signs and sang songs for freedom, asking for change. The police, mind you, full-grown adults, responded by bringing dogs and water hoses to engage with violence. Many of these encounters were filmed by news crews, and the videos spread outrage to the rest of the nation. These teens and kids as young as elementary school spoke up when they saw that a change needed to be made, even when adults could not.
Young people around the world participated in the Black Lives Matter movement and protested against racism and violence against black people. Currently, students all over the U.S. are protesting against anti-LGBTQ legislation such as the Don't Say Gay bills that ban teachers from discussing gender identity and sexual orientation, anti-trans laws and practices, as well as book banning.
These protests are just some examples of youth-led protests. Others, like the Greensboro lunch counter sit-ins, protested racism. Some, like the Newsboys strike of 1899, were about the economy or politics. But one thing that all of these protests have in common is that they were led by youth, led by people like us, led by the future, who will rise up, just like the sea level is, to any challenge if it means that we have even the smallest chance at life for ourselves and the generations to come. As we grow up, we realize just how many problems there are and how big each problem is. To name a few: climate change, criminal justice, homophobia, political corruption, racism, gender inequality, gun violence, poor education, lack of equal resources, debt, immigration, economic injustice, abuse of power, violence, and taxes, which, by the way, are due Tuesday.
And, all these problems can be fixed, but we youth are having to carry all these problems on our back because, as we've been told so many times, we are the future, but we're not gone yet. These problems still affect you, and they won't just go away when you leave. When you were a teenager, what did you want adults to do? What were you hoping for from the future? How do you wish adults had communicated with you?
Now, let me be clear with this. We are not accusing you of not dedicating your entire lives to piecing the world back together. We all can do more. What I'm asking of you, what we are asking, what all youth are asking, is that you fight to make the world truly better. When you go home today or close the tab to this live stream in about 20 minutes, what will you do? I urge you to take a step out of the monotony of the everyday. Go to a new museum or protest and learn. If you're here in person today, spend some time in the social hall at each of the tables. Volunteer. Start a conversation with someone you disagree with. Help to make those issues fade out right now, because waiting won't help anything. Use the resources that you have to fight for us. Fight for the future. Fight for yourselves. There is still hope. Thank you.
Hello. Today's offering supports the ministry and programs here at UUAA. One of the most important things we do is support the spiritual growth and development of the youngest members, including the YRUU group. There are many ways to give. If you're in the sanctuary, you may put cash or a check in the baskets. You may text UUAA to 73256 or go to uuaa.org/giving. As the ushers come forward now, I ask you to give as generously as possible, knowing that any amount helps support UUAA's important work. Today's offering will be gratefully given and received. I thank you for your generosity. Would the ushers please come forward with the offering? And as they do so, will everyone please rise in body or in spirit and join me in speaking the words of dedication. Let us say together, to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these offerings. Thank you. Please have a seat.
Hi, I'm Spencer Thomas. I'm one of the advisors for the YRUU group, and my pronouns are he and him.
Hi, I'm Chava. I'm one of the children in the YRUU group, and I use any pronouns.
Thanks, Chava. There are so many thoughts swirling around in my head right now. I want to thank Ruth and Zack for reminding me of the things that I cared about when I was 18. I wasn't quite handing flowers to National Guardsmen on campus, but I could have been. And just how much you throughout the generations have often led in these movements for change. I know you've been in creation of this thing that we did today, but what struck you this afternoon?
I mean, I think that it came together was really exciting for me, and just how well people took it the first service, I think, struck me. Like doing it last year and this year, the response has been really great, and I've really appreciated that. And people's willingness to listen, less of the content of the service, because I helped put that together. So less of that, more of the response, I think.
And of course, the other message that came through very clearly, thank you, is the ways in which we have conversation by rote, I think I would put it. When I walk up to somebody in the social hall and maybe I don't know you very well, but I want to say hi, you know what comes out of my mouth? Hey, what do you do? Okay, that's like, what grade are you in? Okay? So I want to try to do that differently. How would you try to maybe start conversations differently? How?
I think just diving right into the deeper topics and also asking the weird random questions that you'd be too scared to ask normally. If you look weird to the other person, oh well. It's fun, it's ridiculous. Ask the weirdest, most random question. Ask the deepest question you can think of, because why not? What do you have to lose? And I think that a topic that I'd love to dive into with you right now is sort of more the concept of maturity and immaturity, because we're of different generations, and hearing the perspective on that, I think would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm right in the peak of the boom. Honest to God, as I moved through school, they kept building new ones because there were so many of us. So maturity, I've been thinking about this over the last few days because I knew this conversation was coming, and one of the things that I realized is, maturity is not like a switch that suddenly, you turn 25 or you turn 30 or you turn 50 or whatever it is, and suddenly that switch flips and you're mature. At least for me. Can't speak for you. It's a process. And so what is it? And the answer that I have today is it's taking my life experience and using it to guide my actions going forward. It's okay to make a stupid mistake once if I didn't know any better. But if I do it twice, How do you see maturity developing in your life?
I think that I see it a lot with the responsibilities I take on, with helping plan this service, with the other leadership I'm involved in, and just with everyday life and communication, seeing the mistakes I make and fixing them and working to do that in a way that respects both people or whoever's involved, and taking accountability for things, I think is a big part of that. I think that the word maturity often gets misconstrued as this thing that's like uptight and responsible. You're mature when you're an adult because that's what you're supposed to be. And it doesn't take into account that kids can be mature too, and also that immaturity is seen as this child's thing. It's not seen as not having life experience. It's seen as making a joke that adults won't understand, that you think is a strange thing to say, because, I don't know, it's not taken as this, oh, that's in line with what you're supposed to say. And I think that that often reflects really badly on people who are younger, because they aren't seen as responsible, because they like to goof off, and those things aren't mutually exclusive. So I think that that can be really hard for people who are younger.
How does moving into adulthood feel for you today?
Really scary with the current climate, with all of the bills being passed and the things going on with our political state, especially in this country, and because that's what I know most about. And also just my own personal responsibility, like learning that I have to be the adult that does things. My brain doesn't just magically switch into being someone else when I'm old, I think is a realization I made a few years ago, and that was really scary, because I was always like, oh, I'll be an adult, I'll figure it out then. Like, no, this brain has to figure it out. So I think that it's scary, but it's also exciting to hopefully be looked at in a way where I can be more of my own person, as opposed to being seen as a kid who's still growing up. Being seen as a person who can do the things, I think really excites me. What do you think maturity is like for you? How do you think it affects your everyday life?
You know, between the services, somebody asked me, how do you balance all of those little personal responsibilities with still wanting to have fun and be creative and be impetuous and spontaneous? I don't have a good answer to that question, actually. And I think one of the things that helps me is to be in the moment when I can. I can get weighed down by future ifs, by future musts, and they take away from my enjoyment of now. And I know that, you know, as you're growing up, you know, you're getting more responsibilities. And how do you think about balancing school and life? And I don't know if you're working yet, against, you know, those things that you used to spend all day doing because you could.
Yeah, I don't think I do a great job of it. But I think that I'm trying to work on it and grow and learn with balancing those things, trying to find specific times where I'm like, this is the time I'm doing this thing or being responsible, and this is the time that I'm going to forget all of that and just have fun. And even if I'm worried about something, just trying to forget it for that time, just to enjoy life. And I think that that is really important, and a thing that adults need to do more, to just sort of live and not be so stuck up in professional life, and just have fun. And I think maturity often reflects on adults really poorly because of that. You don't get to have fun without being labeled as a child. And I don't think that's right either. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes. And no, I just, today and yesterday when we were rehearsing have been really amazing. And I don't use that word lightly because when we started planning this service, a month and a half ago, I didn't see it pulling together, but it did, okay? And you did that. You did that. It wasn't me, it wasn't Carli, it wasn't JJ, it wasn't Kate, it was you. And for that, I want to honor you and thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely thank you to my fellow YRUU people and our advisors. You've been a great help. It has been a long, hard process, but we made it. So yay. And I would invite you all to have these sort of conversations about other things in your life, the scary things, the important things, the fun things, the funny things, all the things. And we have prepared a little thing in the social hall for you guys to play with. There are some beach balls with very random questions on them. And we invite you to throw them to each other and answer whatever question is under your thumb. Just for a fun little game. Some of the questions make absolutely no sense. Just try to answer them to the best of your ability or make up a reason for the question. I don't know. We've been playing with them a bunch and having a really good time. There's also some actions on them, like hop on one foot or flap your wings and soar. You don't have to do them, but they're funny, so please do make us laugh if you're able to. And yeah, go from this learning to not just be like, how was school? How was work? Because I think most people want more than that, and no one admits it. So I think that's all we have today, and I invite you to now go to our social hall, have those conversations, and please go in peace.